Oh, hi. I'm sorry I'm on late. So Ben surprised me and I don't know if y'all remember, but July 7th was our wedding anniversary, but on July 8th we got a hurricane. So we had to postpone that because Mother Nature said, here, have a hurricane. So we were riding bikes today. What else did we do? I've drank so many little coffees. I've just had the greatest time ever. There's so many local coffee shops where we're at. I'm a little excitable from the caffeine. I do apologize. I am going to do at the bare minimum because we are just trying to make our little dinner reservation. But listen, I get home on Sunday, so we're back to our regularly scheduled program. Feral Monday is going to be happening. We're going to be back in business. So, but you know, when I travel, if I'm able to do a story tutorial, I want to come and hang out with y'all because I miss y'all so much. And I know you're like, how do you miss me through a story? We chat in our DMs. Ooh, it looks nice. I'm gonna just do that. I'm not even going to set that. I applied a pretty thin layer, so with certain concealers, they can be self-setting, but only to a certain extent. It just depends on how much you put on. If we were to put on a full coverage amount, a lot, we would have to set it. That's from my sunglasses. I'm gonna use some of this stuff. Here comes Ben back in. He was calling about a reservation or something, I don't know. Listen, I don't need y'all to be looking at this brush I'm using. Don't even look at it. Just tapping that in. Just to kind of finish off the redness. This has been my in a hurry go-to and I cannot stop. Can't stop. Hey, you know what? While I do have you here and on the story, Ben, you know, remember those pink tweezers you borrowed?
Yeah.
Remember those? They're so cute and they were mine. I think they actually even have my name on them. What happened to those?
It's a valid question.
It's a valid question. All of my judgment and animosity and all of that, I forgot to tell you, this is the typology grain corrector. Let me look for those tweezers.
All right, you let him know. You let him know about old Ben here.
You put them back. Let's lay down some clear base. This one's from Milk. And I'm going to use my Kevyn Aucoin palette for pretty much everything else too. But we got to make it even. So we'll grab the other end of this brush. Make sure it's nice and even across the lid. And also notice I'm not dragging, I'm tapping. Dragging doesn't always deposit your product evenly. This has sped up my process so much. Let's grab our In a Rush brush and I'm going to actually lay down a little bit of this peachy color first. We're gonna go peachy. I feel like whenever I'm in a hurry, going peachy, it just makes my skin look really, really even and quickly. So just tap that. That's kind of our transition. It's on the side of the brush. That way we can just really lay it down. All right, then I'm just gonna grab a little bit of this shade and I'm just gonna place it on the outer part here pretty heavily. I'm gonna try to keep it pretty soft coming out of the socket and then just angle it upwards a little bit. And then we'll just switch to a smaller brush, grab this shade and this shade. We'll just kind of mix them to get a lot of depth and then I'll just kind of get us a nice dark little wing. Good enough. I'll just take whatever's left and just press it underneath here. Easy. Let's do some of this on our lid. I just want to do a whisper. I could definitely build it up, but I don't want to get too wild and then turn this into absolute full glam. One slip of the hand and I'm full glam. Let's get these lashes going. I'm just gonna wear mascara. Actually, you know what would be even easier? I'm just gonna do that. I feel like these no glue lashes, the body heat activated ones from Lily Lashes, they're just so much easier. I'm just gonna put on a little bit of mascara just to darken my lashes. And I probably shouldn't have even curled them. I thought I was gonna do mascara, but you know what, they really are faster. And this is actually a good learning curve. I'm gonna be able to put lashes on these curled lashes because I do it so often. But if you don't do it as often, what I would recommend is definitely not curling your lashes because it can be a little bit harder to fit the lash over the curl. So that's actually a really good tip. All right, so we're gonna do the Style Trendsetter. What I'm doing here is I'm pinching it to warm it. It's already grabbing. Get ready. There we go. Grab it from the center, just like we do ones with glue. And then let it warm up even more on your eye. And then once it's nice and warmed, it's going to automatically adhere to your skin. And then what I'm doing here is I'm pinching my natural lash into the falsie. And then something that we're still waiting on this one, she's a little wonky, it's gotta warm up. But something I've taught y'all, but I think that we need a reminder, is that whenever I wear a falsie, I take the tiniest amount of a liquid liner and I kind of just continue that lash band. It is so subtle, but it makes such a difference. Alrighty, time for some bronzer. We're almost done. Again, I'm sorry it's short, but I'm using this one as the bronzer, but remember, we have to tap here like that. But like I said, I'm gonna be home next week and we will be painting. Although somehow, this got a little glam. By the way, I just wanted to remind you, we just got a new shipment of C42, so you can get those on the Rosabin Beauty website. I'll link it right there. And also, the amazing Essential Travel Set deal is still going on. So it's just a little reminder. Now this is not needed. I have things, so I use them. You don't need to, but I'm gonna take my YSL bronzer because I do love it, and I'm just gonna transition. So here's the darker one that we just applied, and then I'm transitioning those edges. And this is just an idea because most of the time we have a bronzer somewhere that might be too light, and this is just a fun way to kind of play around with it to transition your bronzer. It's not necessary. I do not want anybody to think that they need 14 bronzers, but if you're like me and you do like to find makeup and try it, you probably have more than one bronzer, so it's really fun to try. And I feel like if you want a mascara that doesn't go to full glam, I feel like there's so many different mascaras, and I understand that. And again, we don't need two, but if you're the kind of person who looks for a mascara to just be a little soft, not too intense, I really think you'll like the Rare Beauty one. It's really, really nice, and it doesn't just go really quickly. You get what I'm saying. Alrighty, we're gonna go into our peach blush. I'm gonna apply it kind of in the bronzer. Nice, just a little bit. I get out of control. Y'all know this. Well, if anybody knows this, y'all know this. I'm gonna grab this powder. Love it. Love. And I'm just going to blur everything together. So how I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna focus it where I don't have bronzer or blush first. I'm gonna focus the heavier part there, kind of in the blank space where just the concealer is. And then I'll kind of move on top. And that just blurs everything together. Because it does have pigment, it could change. It's not gonna leave a cast because it's your skin tone, but because it does have pigment, it could change the color of your blush or your bronzer. So you just want to do the lightest dusting there where you already have that done, and then go on top. I'm actually going to use a little bit of this just to kind of blur the top part where there's a little bit more. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. It's a little hard to focus because, again, the window, and I'm just excited. We're having a really nice time. I'm not one for bike riding, but I did it today and I did not fall down. Y'all would be so proud of me. But one more time, I'm only applying this where I have the most of my actual skin tone showing through, just to kind of blur everything a little bit more. Let's do an inner corner. We're gonna use this shade, the same one, and this one I am gonna go a little bit more heavy-handed, because why not? So I got excited the other day and I wanted this MAC lipstick. It's called Sellout, but with a $sign for the S. It's fun. And then these Fenty lip liners have not left my side. This is Extra Thigh. I'm gonna go pretty heavy-handed. Look at how creamy, but don't get me wrong, it's creamy, but it lasts. But it's also really easy to control. So even though it's really creamy, you can just go and it goes where you want it to go. All right, friends, I gotta go get dressed. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I love making time for y'all. I honestly, if I'm not doing my story tutorials, I don't feel like myself. So I'm so happy that we had time to at least do this. And now on the weekends, I don't do the story tutorials, so we're gonna spend the rest of the weekend. But I leave Sunday afternoon or Sunday midday. I should give you my flight number just so you can keep track. So yes, but I'll be home by Monday. Definitely Sunday night, I'll be home and everything goes back to normal on Monday. I love y'all so much and I hope you have a wonderful, peaceful, just fantastic weekend.